Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tactical Friday. You heard from him this past Monday, and I am pleased to be bringing back Jarrod Haning, attached to Mindset Performance, the Mindset Gym, and really breaking down a few intricate tactical pieces attached to that. Jarrod, welcome back, my friend.
Happy to be here.
And so we talked a lot. I'm excited about this piece because we're going to be able to break this down more. We talked a lot about the mindset piece, breaking through the barriers, maybe lacking awareness attached to what's holding you back. You feel like you're going the right direction, but maybe your wheels are spinning. You can't get the traction you're looking for. A lot of that obviously feeds back into your mindset. One of the big things that I'm curious about as people are struggling with this, they're feeling these feelings. Can you outline what feelings may be correlated that somebody could be feeling, but also going beyond that? Can you outline for us what those common blind spots are that they have these feelings, and this is where the common blind spot may be?
Some of the feelings are probably pretty common for people. People feel like they're not qualified enough. They don't have enough education or knowledge or skills. They don't have enough success to be able to put themselves out there. Some version of not good enough. I don't have enough of something. And then the other ones of the confidence. I have enough, but I just don't feel confident and actually doing it. I don't think I can do it. I think other people can do it, but I just don't feel like I can pull it off. For some people, it's clarity, just a feeling of being in the weeds, foggy, fuzzy. Gosh, what's going on? Something keeps holding me back. I can't put my finger on it. These feelings are probably pretty common, and you don't have to be an entrepreneur to have those. It's just that sense. Anywhere that there is a loss of freedom, a loss of power, or a loss of self expression, there is a thinking pattern that has gotten tangled up somewhere. So, those emotions that we experience. But then the other thing, you were looking at blind spots. In the work that we do, a mindset is a strategic way of thinking. It is a pattern, a network of thinking. And because it is a pattern, by the way, we don't have problems in our life. We only have patterns of behavior. Because it's a pattern, a way of thinking, a network, it's something that you can access. They don't think that way because they're special. They think that way because their brain is wired that way. And you can have the same experience wiring your brain. So a mindset is a thinking pattern. A blind spot, for the work that we do, a blind spot is a way of thinking that makes so much sense that you can't see what is hiding. For example, for some people, they believe that action gets results. And so if you take more action, you will get more results. This is a blind spot. It's a blind spot because it makes sense that action gets results. It makes sense that more action gets more results. The reason it's a blind spot is because the people that think that way cannot understand why there's always more on their to-do list than they have time to get done. What's going on? Why do I keep running into this hurdle where I don't have enough time, don't have enough money? I'm taking action. I'm taking lots of action. Well, because it's a blind spot. The problem is in your car, when you hit something, you get out of the car because that removes the blind spots and you get other angles. But in your life, when you hit something, don't have enough time. Well, I just need to work harder and faster. I still don't have enough time. Well, that's because I need to work harder and faster. I mean, we just keep doing it. And the mind scan gives us the ability to kind of get out of your head so you can see where those blind spots are that were tripping you up.
And it's interesting because I mean you've performed. You mentioned on Monday's episode as a musician, you performed at a really high level. Is it something that you recognized as you were progressing that you might have had a block or a blind spot that you had to overcome as well?
I had a blind spot. I had a huge block in music performance, where stage fright was absolutely kicking my butt. I would practice for 4 or 5 hours a day for 6 months straight to get ready for an event. And during the event, my body would shut down. My hands would shake. My eyes would lose color. It would go to grayscale. Sometimes it'd be just blind. My ears would get tunnel hearing where I couldn't hear what was happening in front of me. I could only hear what was happening outside of the room. My brain would skip around. It was just like panic. And it's miserable, right? Because you just spent 6 months of your life preparing for this, only to fall flat on your face. And so I would leave the stage. I would want to sell my instrument and get out of music. It was so miserable. But all of that was a way of thinking that said, don't worry about it. Just do your best. Just do your best. Don't worry about it. Just do your best. Do your best. And do your best is a blind spot. It's a way of thinking that makes sense. And because it makes so much sense, you can't see how doing your best is actually what's causing you to end up in that rut. The short end of the story is there's no such thing as your best. So trying to do your best is a target you can't miss. It's only one you can hit. You're playing a game that you cannot ever win. You can only fail because at no point in time is it your best. The closer you get to it, the more aware you become of how much better you could have done. The shortcut, at least in my situation, was learning to play a bigger game, learning to play for something that had more at stake than doing your best. Because we will do amazing things for other people that we would never do for ourselves. That could be another story for another podcast, but I promise you're only having the problems you're currently having in your life because you aren't up to something bigger.
That's a heavy one, and a lot of us may not even be aware of that piece, right? Is there a tip or a tactic you can give us that may help us to be more aware of some of these blind spots?
Yeah. So the becoming aware of the blind spot is simply, do you ever touch the same task twice? Do you ever have the same problem twice? And a great way to spot that is, what's the last time you wanted to do something, but you couldn't do it? What was the reason you couldn't do it? People say, oh, well, I just don't feel like I'm ready. Somebody else says, oh, well, I don't have enough time. Somebody else says, oh, well, I didn't have enough money. All right, here's the deal. Whatever your reason was, I promise you give the same reason every time. Actually, I do. As you think back over the years, it's the same thing. I've always used the same thing as my excuse. Okay, at this point, we now can see that it's not a real problem. It's a pattern of behavior in your life. And if you have that, if you keep hitting the same obstacle, it's not because you aren't working hard enough. And it's not because you aren't doing things that make sense. It's because there's something about that your brain hasn't seen. It's a blind spot. And once we remove that blind spot, now you can run free.
And of course, a big piece of this, because we talked about the mind scan on Monday, but also recognizing like it then becomes a blueprint for you, action steps, tactics to take moving forward attached to it. Obviously, a lot of what you do with the mindset gym. Can you give us a little bit more insights once we come to this awareness and we take the scan and we figure out stuff? Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the successes you've possibly had with clients at the mindset gym and some of the different things that you work on at the mindset gym that we could look forward to?
Well, the mindset gym is just like any gym. You go there to work out. And because you're working out at the gym, you're getting results at the gym. Like you leave sore at a real gym. A business seminar, a marketing seminar, a life coaching conference or whatever, that's the equivalent of learning information about going to the gym. It's not the same thing. We skip that. Just show up at the gym and do the work, do the exercises, and you get the results. Some people that come to the gym, we had a lady, she was stay-at-home mom, felt life was calling her to something bigger, but it was frustrating that she couldn't tell you what that was. Very frustrating. She comes to the gym, does the mindset push-ups, gets the clarity on exactly what life is calling her to next and exactly what her sweet spot is, her zone of genius. Turns out she had a gift, a knack for demographic data. And she could stack demographic data and spot trends that the local real estate investors were missing. And when she spends about 40 hours poring over that data, she would uncover multi-million-dollar real estate opportunities, putting $400,000 profit into her pocket. Her time, when she spends it in her sweet spot, is worth $10,000 an hour. And this is so robust that her husband quit his job to go to work for her new company. Completely changed her life. when she got clarity on what life was calling her to next and exactly how she was uniquely wired for that adventure. Had a guy who is got the golden handcuffs on. Well, I call it first world disease. You're too comfortable. So he's not enough pain to leave, but he's also not happy. Got the golden handcuffs on. And after going through the mindset push-ups, he cut out all the baloney in his business because his business, he realized at that point, came down to making 3 to 5 phone calls a day. Now he's doing 300,000 a year based on 3 to 5 phone calls a day. This is unbelievable clarity. Had a lady who was working about 100 hours nights and weekends. So she'd work her regular 40, and then her side job, she would do nights and weekends, and she would work about 100 hours on the side. I mean, she's staying up till like 3 and 4 in the morning. I don't know how she does it. It's absolutely crazy. Well, comes to the mindset gym, does the work, and realizes something that she had never noticed about her side job. That year, she tripled her income. She cut her production time in half. So no more 100 hours. And as a result of that, it more than replaced the income of her primary job, just because her brain was thinking at a higher level as to what was really possible. At the end of it, though, confidence, clarity, and if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably going to double your income just because your brain is thinking at a higher level.
Man, I love it. And I don't know anybody that doesn't want to double their income. And a big piece of that is obviously, less you work, the more you make attached to it, right? And that's a big piece that this really optimizes and makes everything you're doing more efficient. Remind the audience, remind us, how can we go about, find out more information about it and get involved in this process?
So the first step is to not take my word for it. Try it for yourself. Be skeptical. You can try the mind scan for yourself. It takes about 20 minutes to complete. You can access that at mindsetperformance.co. If you have any questions, want to chat, you can hit me up on Facebook, Jarrod Haning on Facebook. Shoot me a message. Would be happy to help however I can.
Love it. Jarrod, I appreciate it, man. Super fascinating stuff. I encourage everybody, go check it out, get involved, and start doing those reps in the mindset gym. Jarrod, I
Yes, sir.
appreciate you, brother.
Peace.